Ever feel like something's watching you, but nothing's there?
I'm not joking, something just tugged my hair.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
These people did. And what they saw next changed everything. Whether it's an old hospital, a haunted house, or your very own bedroom, the unknown doesn't knock before it shows up. So buckle up, because once you see what they saw, you won't be able to sleep alone tonight.
You're scary? Why?
It's monsters.
Most kids hide under beds during playtime, but this time, it was different. TikTok user Josh Dean shared a chilling video from his daughter's bedroom camera. Around 3 a.m., she suddenly woke up and bent down like she saw something underneath the bed. Moments later, she cried out for her mom. But before anyone could get to her, she was dragged off screen. Josh's wife thought maybe the girl crawled away in panic. Crib balance. A mother decided to check the baby monitor one night just to be safe. What she saw left her speechless. Her baby, barely able to walk, was standing straight up on the edge of the crib, perfectly still and balanced like a statue. Some believe it was a trick of the camera, others think it might have been something paranormal. Window visitor.
Is there a cat in here?
No.
Late one night, a mom checked the baby monitor and noticed her child staring at the window, completely still. When she went in to ask what was wrong, the child whispered, "There's a monster in the window."
You're scary? Why?
It's monsters.
Trying to stay calm, she looked around, saw nothing, and gently put her child back to sleep. But the next morning, when she re-watched the CCTV, her stomach dropped. Just for a second, a ghostly shape flashed by the window. It looked just like their pet cat, who had passed away months ago. Was it there to protect the child, or was it something else entirely?
There's no monster in the window. I'll look. See?
Not my wife. While away on a business trip, a man casually checked the home CCTV to make sure everything was okay. But what he saw shocked him to the core. His wife was on screen, but something was off. Her face looked different, paler, blanker, and her movements were strange, almost robotic. Then she held up a sign asking for help. Behind her, a dark figure stood completely still. Terrified, the man rushed home without a second thought. He took his wife and left the house for good. Shadow baby.
There's another one there. Look at what is that?
In a quiet town in Indonesia, a school security guard noticed something strange while on night duty. He saw what looked like a child sitting near the school's fence, but as he got closer, he realized it wasn't a child at all. It was a small, shadowy figure, shaped like a baby, but clearly not human. It didn't move. It just sat there until it disappeared right in front of him. Locals said it was the spirit of a baby connected to the school's past. Whatever it was, the guard swore he'd never forget what he saw.
Okay, that's weird.
Triplet visitor. One night, a mom checked the baby monitor and saw her triplets wide awake, laughing and chatting with someone. Except no one else was there. The kids were huddled by the wall, acting like they were having a full conversation. When she asked who they were talking to, the answer made her freeze. A weird ghost. Nothing like it ever happened again. But that one moment was enough to give her chills every time she looked at that room. Vanishing cry.
Magic.
This security guard was working the night shift in a quiet building when he heard something strange, a soft cry, like a child sobbing in the distance. Confused, he followed the sound through the dark hallways, flashlight shaking in his hand. Suddenly, a small boy appeared in front of him, standing completely still. The guard froze, and then ran. When he turned back to check, the boy was gone, but the crying just started to get louder. He searched the whole area, but there was no one there. Not a single door opened, no place to hide. If that wasn't a prank, something else might have been playing with him. Window stare.
I walk and I look up and I see my neighbor.
While trying to rest, a man heard a loud crash from next door. Annoyed, he went over to check on his neighbor, but froze at the window. At first, it looked like someone was just standing there. But the longer he stared, the worse it got. The figure's face was twisted, almost like it was wearing someone else's skin. It just stared back. That thing wasn't human, and it wasn't friendly either. Without waiting another second, the man ran back to his house and locked up. Whatever was in that window, it definitely wasn't the neighbor.
For a walk and I look up and then I see my neighbor.
Haunted hospital. In Colombia, a government doctor was transferred to a new hospital. Sounded simple enough, but from the moment he walked in, something felt off. Wheelchairs moved without anyone touching them. Doors creaked open and slammed shut with no wind. Chairs shifted on their own like invisible hands were rearranging the room. The staff barely reacted. They'd seen it all before, but the doctor, he was shaken. There were no wires. No tricks, just raw, unexplainable activity. Some blamed restless spirits. Others were more convinced that this was some trapped energy. Not alone. When Leandro moved into his new place, neighbors gave him a warning. They said a woman once lived there, and something tragic happened. Her spirit, they believed, never left. Leandro didn't buy into it until one night in the kitchen. Whispers filled the air, doors creaked open,
What the
and the lights flickered like crazy. He stood frozen, heart racing. That moment flipped everything. Now even he admits there's someone else in that house, and she's not leaving anytime soon. Haunted nun. In a quiet Romanian town, one man had the most terrifying night of his life. The lights in his house started flickering out of nowhere. Thinking it was just a power issue, he grabbed a flashlight. But that's when things went downhill. A creepy nun appeared near his staircase, her face twisted and inhuman. The lights around her glitched wildly. Then she just disappeared. Unseen force.
I don't know.
Something fucking
No, I'm out. I'm coming out.
You expect your room to be the safest place, but not for these two sisters. They were just chilling, doing their usual stuff, when one of them suddenly jerked forward. Something had yanked her hair. At first, they thought it was a joke, but then the second sister's hair got pulled too. That's when it clicked. They weren't alone. The room felt cold, tense, like someone was standing right there with them, invisible. Without even grabbing their things, they bolted. And honestly, whatever was in that room wasn't playing around.
I'm not joking. Something just took my hair.
What do you mean? Something
I don't know.
Ghostly touch. Heather Bro from Michigan got the shock of her life when she found 3 markings on Lily that weren't there before after her nap. Confused and scared, she and her fiancé Josh checked the baby cam, and that's when things got creepy. In the footage, a dark figure walked past Lily's crib, then vanished into thin air. They lived in a guest house, and there was no one else around. The scratches had no clear cause, and the couple became convinced it was paranormal. Uninvited guest. After a long trip, all this man wanted was a quiet night at home. But past midnight, soft scratching sounds started coming from the bathroom. At first, he thought maybe it was a pipe or the wind, but the noise kept going. He finally got up to check. As he peeked around the corner, something peeked back. A pale face with hollow eyes stared right at him. The rest of its body stayed hidden in the dark. That was enough. The man grabbed his stuff and left immediately. Whatever had crept into his home while he was gone clearly wasn't planning to leave. Patio girl. It was supposed to be a regular quiet night, nothing out of place, but their security camera had other plans. The footage showed something strange. A blur near the patio door began taking shape. Slowly, it turned into the outline of a female. Arm, head, body, just standing there, watching. Then she disappeared, like she was never there at all. Some say it was just a trick of the light. Others, they think she's been there the whole time, waiting to be seen. Street shadow. A man in a small Mexican town was casually checking street CCTV footage when he saw something that stopped him cold. A shadowy figure was gliding through the streets, not walking, but floating. It had no clear face or body, just a dark, blurry shape that shifted as it moved. The street was completely empty, but the figure kept weaving through corners like it had a destination. When he showed the footage to others, the reactions were instant. Some said it was a ghost, others said it was a spirit tied to the land. Crib guardian. In Indonesia, a mother was getting ready to sleep when her baby suddenly dropped backward into his crib. Worried, she rushed over. The baby was fine, but the way it happened didn't feel right, so she checked the CCTV footage. What she saw left her completely shaken. The baby had been staring at one spot for a long time, like something was holding his attention. Then, without warning, he fell back unnaturally fast, almost like he was pushed. At the same moment, a chair in the background moved slightly on its own. The timing was too perfect to ignore. The mother now believes something entered that room. Something she couldn't see, but her baby clearly could. Blanket horror. A girl kept hearing strange sounds coming from her room. Nervous but curious, she stepped inside to see what was going on. That's when she noticed something odd, a lump under the blanket near her bed, like someone was hiding. Thinking it was her younger brother pulling a prank, she carefully lifted the blanket. But what she found wasn't human. A gray-skinned figure was sitting there, its eyes wide open, its body stiff like a forgotten mannequin from a nightmare. Before she could react, the head tilted and dropped. Freaked out, she ran for help. Turns out, it was a statue, but no one in the house ever admitted to putting it there. Scary encounter. When your house starts feeling like the set of a horror movie, it's probably not just your nerves. In China, a man kept feeling like someone or something was inside his home. He tried to shake it off, but the feeling wouldn't leave, so he started checking every room. When he reached one door, everything changed. A human-like face suddenly peeked out. Its eyes were huge, and the skin didn't even look real. That was it. He did not second guess. He packed up and walked out. for good. And honestly, same. Cabin watcher.
Is that it right there?
Two friends, Colton and Casey, headed out to explore a creepy old hunting cabin in the middle of nowhere. Weird stuff had been reported there for years. The second they arrived, the air felt heavy. They decided to split up. Colton stayed outside, Casey went in. That's when things got weird. Doors slammed for no reason.
That door right there just closed. I got it on camera, I'm telling you.
Sensors picked up nothing, and Casey's camera, it caught something hiding. A brown figure with a head peeking from a dark doorway, just staring. When Casey checked the room, it was gone. But the footage doesn't lie.
Like another large
Oh, don't get, yeah, stay back.
Floating face.
What is it? That is insane. Look, it's just disappeared.
A woman jolted awake late one night, her heart already racing for no reason. Instinct made her glance toward the window, and that's when she saw it. Hovering just outside the glass was a head, just a head. There was no lower half, and also no sound. Just this pale, twisted face staring at her with a wide, frozen grin. It didn't blink. It didn't move. After a few seconds, it faded into the night like smoke. She never figured out what it was, but the feeling it left behind, that chill still haunts her. And deep down, she knows that wasn't its last visit.
Oh, hell no. That's crazy.
Ghostly frame. They were just filming a regular moment. A girl was recording her mom chatting in the living room. No spooky vibes, nothing weird. But when they played the footage back later, their mood flipped. Behind the mom, a ghostly woman walked straight across the room. She looked faded, like part of an old photo, dressed in what seemed like a nurse's uniform from decades ago. She didn't look angry, just lost. Then she vanished mid-step. The creepiest part? No one saw her in real life, just the camera did. That clip still freaks them out every time they watch it. Hair braider. A man was searching for his young daughter when he spotted her sitting calmly at a table, but something looked off. Her hair was being braided by ghostly floating hands coming up from underneath the table. He froze in place, completely shocked. There wasn't enough space under there for anyone to hide, and no one else was around. He rushed to check, but the hands were already gone, just vanished. Since then, he's convinced something dark is attached to his daughter, and honestly, based on what he saw, he might be right. Graveyard shadow. A guy was flying his drone late at night, just messing around, when he decided to check out a nearby graveyard. As the drone hovered near a tall tree, something caught his eye. A pale, ghostly figure standing near the roots. It wasn't small either. The figure had shape, height, and moved ever so slightly. It didn't look human, and it definitely wasn't a statue. Some believe it might have been the spirit of someone buried nearby. Either way, the footage freaked people, and can't really blame them. Wall spirit. He was just a kid walking home, taking the same path like always. But that night, everything changed. As he passed a wall near his house, something dark and ghostly slipped right out of it, like it had been hiding there all along. Terrified, he ran straight home, shaking and out of breath. At first, no one believed him, but when they checked the street camera, it was all there, a shadowy figure literally passing through the wall. That clip spread like wildfire, and the wall has stayed untouched ever since. Now, even the boldest locals cross the street when they get too close. Well, creature. Taking a shortcut through the field seemed like a smart idea until he passed an old, crumbling well. Something nearby moved. He turned to look and froze. A tall, strange figure was crouched by the well, completely silent. It had no clear face, no clear body, just a shape that didn't belong. And then it shifted. It floated above the ground for a second, twisted in the air and slipped straight down the well. The man didn't wait to find out more. He sprinted home. Some say it's just an old story. Well, that didn't turn out so good for him. Forest Watcher. Forests have their own kind of silence, unnatural, heavy, like they're hiding something. A man walking through the trees felt it shift. He stopped. Then he turned and saw something. Tall, tangled, and wrong. A figure stood among the trees, hair hanging in clumps, skin pale and stretched, and glowing eyes that locked onto him. It looked like a witch pulled straight out of a nightmare. But instead of running, the man stood still. He didn't move. He didn't scream. He just stared back and slowly walked away. Maybe he understood something, or maybe he knew the forest had claimed him. New house horror. Moving into a new place should feel like a fresh start, but this guy's new home had other plans. A few days in, he started feeling watched, like the walls were paying attention. One night, he caught something that confirmed it. In the washroom window, a strange face stared back at him. Not quite human, not fully real, just hovering there. He ran to the door, hoping to catch whoever, or whatever, it was. But no one was there. Smiling stranger. This couple had just moved into their dream home. Everything was good vibes, until it wasn't. While their friend was casually recording a video of them, something creepy showed up in the background. Right behind them was a figure with a disturbing grin. Not a person. Not anything you'd want standing near you. The couple didn't even see it until they checked the footage later. That smile was the stuff of nightmares. What happened next? Nobody knows. But if it were me, I'd be calling a moving truck the next morning. Corner stare. One night, a guy heard soft, creepy sounds coming from near his bed. At first, he thought it was just his imagination, but the fear kicked in fast. He ran out and woke his friend in a panic, asking him to check. When his friend walked into the room, he found a dark figure standing in the corner. It did not move, but kept on staring with its cold, eerie stare. The kind of thing you only see in nightmares. No one knows what it was, but ever since, they both avoid that room completely. Unwanted Audience. Some friends, all in a band, found an abandoned house to jam in. Cool spot, right? Not for long. While they were lost in the music, something behind the wall was watching them. A pale face with empty black eyes just stared. It didn't move, didn't blink, just watched. They didn't notice a thing until later, when they reviewed their footage. That's when they saw it, tucked into the corner, like it belonged there. Let's just say, that house didn't get a second gig. Haunted sheet. Late one night in an Indonesian hospital, a staff member heard strange noises coming from one of the rooms. Thinking it was a patient, he went to check, only to freeze. One of the bed sheets was moving on its own, like something was trapped underneath, twisting and pushing to get out. But when he pulled it back, nothing. And there was no one there. Not even an animal, which is why no one could explain it. Since that night, the room has stayed empty. And their worker, he refuses to even walk past it anymore. Final ride. While driving through Northumberland, Rob Davies and Chris Felton saw a man by the roadside waving for a ride. He wore an old RAF uniform, beige and crisp, like it was still the 1940s. But just as they slowed down, he vanished, considering no sudden movements were made or a turn that can be seen in the clip, and no place to hide. So, how did he just disappear? Later, they found out about a pilot named John Knight who crashed in that exact spot during World War II. The uniform matched. The story lined up. Maybe he's still waiting for that ride he never made it to. Let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This looked straight out of a horror movie, but it actually happened. One night, a baby was resting peacefully in its crib, but it wasn't alone. A witch-like figure appeared right beside the baby, creeping over the crib rail, trying to reach in. It kept extending its arms, but couldn't touch the child, almost like something was stopping it. No matter how many times it tried, it failed. Maybe the baby had some kind of blessing, or maybe something unseen was protecting them. Either way, after watching the footage, the parents weren't taking any chances. That baby stayed extra protected after that night.